And now you know. And knowing is half the battle. Because knowledge is power. GM. COGGM, it's 12 o'clock. It's the 10th day of March 2022. It's about 62 degrees and sunny here in Ventura, California. And it's March Madness, so time to get together your bracket. Obviously, since I live in Costa Rica, well, on a small island off the coast of Costa Rica, I'm voting for Costa Rica College. Yeah, go Wombats. Anyways, it's time for GM Tip, and today we are talking about character knowledge versus player knowledge, because apparently this chestnut is floating around the interweb, and people are upset about players acting on character knowledge, and I'm like, why is this a thing? No one cares. Really, at this point in the hobby, no one cares. Okay, so when would this be a problem? And I think there's only like 2 or 3 times where you would have to worry about you knowing something that there's no way your character should know and, acting on it or choosing not to act on it. Number 1, you know a skill that there's absolutely no way your character would know, and you're presented with a situation where you have to use that skill. Well, you, the player, know how to do it, but you, the character, might not. But then again, if we're talking D&D, how often are you going to run into situations where there's a situation where you know something about, but your character doesn't? I mean, really? Driving a car, operating a computer, using a vacuum, unless you're on Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, 80% of the stuff you know is never going to come up in a D&D game. And as for things that might come up in a D&D game, like, I don't know, surviving in the wild, knowing the history of something, if you're someplace where, real world history is influencing a D&D game, but then again, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are situations that would come up where it would be impossible for your character to know stuff that you know. Let's say you are an expert survivalist. You're in a situation where your character is placed in a situation where your knowledge of an expert survivalist would come in handy. But hey, you're running a halfling from the city who's never stepped outside of the city. So how would they know how to survive in the Arctic waste? And why are they carrying appropriate equipment for the Arctic waste if they've never been there? And suddenly, you're in the Arctic and then you're pulling stuff out. And the DM's like, why do you have a snow axe? There's no way you would know that you would need one. Unless, of course, someone told you. Or we're living in a world where magic exists. And really, if we're living in a world where magic exists, then sure, why not? Why wouldn't you have spent 5 seconds to magically have someone tell you or look it up or learn it or have the knowledge passed on to you by somebody else? Really, why is it a thing? Now, the second time, and I think this is the one most people get, is when your character knows something that the rest of the party doesn't know, but they heard the DM say it. So perfect example, probably the one that comes up the most, is either the player character has scouted ahead and he sees something, and there's no way other players would know this or even know that they're in trouble, but they act on it. Oh, I'm going to run down the hall. Why would you run down the hall? Well, I heard, no, I didn't tell you to roll for noise, so I just know he's in trouble. How do you know he's in trouble? Or there's information that is given to you because you've gone ahead and the other players hear it and they act on that information, and it influences the choices they make of their characters. Like there's something written on the wall and it's only written in a language one person understands. So the DM tells you what it says, but everybody else, of course, hears you what it says, the DM telling you, which leaves you unable to tell them in the way that you think would be appropriate, or not tell them. Let's say you sneak up ahead and you see something and you don't want anybody else in the party to know. Maybe you killed something. Maybe you stole something. I don't know. For there was only some way to avoid this problem. So you wouldn't have to worry about things like that. Instead of posting YouTube videos, I don't know, like write it down on a piece of paper and hand it to the player, or have the player write it down and hand it to you. If you're in a situation where nobody else can know what the player knows. Yeah, that's, and if only we had a magic device in our pockets that would allow us to communicate with other people at the table without anybody hearing or seeing what we're talking about. Oh, yeah, we do. So why is this a thing? If you're worried about players acting on character knowledge, send the person a message or write them a note. Problem solved. Now, the flip side is, I guess, stuff your character would know that there's no way in hell you would know, like subatomic physics or the gaseous weight of stars or how to cast a spell. In that case, I mean, yeah, that's what dice rolls are for. That's what the DM's telling you, make a knowledge galactic star charts roll. And if you succeed the roll, he tells you. And if you fail the rolls, he gives you misinformation or partial information or just tells you can't find it. Sure, there's going to be situations, especially in modern day and science fiction games, where you run into a situation where your character knows something. There's no way you probably know, especially as we get farther and farther away from Earth. There's plenty of things in a modern day game, like if you're playing Vampire or Urban Arcana or something, that your character and you would probably know, including skills you probably forgot to put down, like swimming and bike riding. It's like, I know how to ride a bike. It's 2022. My character's 14 years old. I assume they know how to ride a bike. Well, you didn't write it down. Dude, everybody knows how to ride a bike or swim. So I guess that would be a situation. Another situation would be, well, my character knows how to perform open heart surgery, but fuck if I know how to perform open heart surgery. And in the old days, I guess that would be an issue, and there would be situations where, like, I'm acting on stuff that I have no idea, but I'll just role play it. But today, in the 21st century, we once again have a magic device in our pocket that allows us to look stuff up. So if you were in a situation where you were presented with a obstacle that there's no way you could know, but your character knows, you could just look it up on Google. Average weight of a galactic object moving at X speed. Oh, 302,057. Okay, I know that. Yeah. Again, why is this a thing? Really? Why? I don't understand why people are upset about this. Is this day and age in the hobby, if players are acting on character knowledge and characters are acting on player knowledge? Who cares? That's what Session 0 is for. Establish in Session 0 what you want to play and how you want to play it. And if they don't follow it, remind them that's what they agreed upon and dock them a few experience points at the end of the game. Cindy, there was no way you could know that Lou was in trouble when he ran ahead into room 15, but you acted on it anyways. I'm going to dock you, 5 experience points, but otherwise, whatever, who cares? Maybe Lou yelled and maybe you did hear it. I don't know. It really doesn't matter. As long as we're having fun and everybody's playing and involved and whatever, there's more important things for me as a DM to worry about going on in the game than whether your character knew that or not. And there's more important things to you worry about as a player, whether other than, oh my God, I know that Lou's in trouble, but my character wouldn't know that Lou's in trouble. What do? I should act, but I can't act. Well, you probably shouldn't act if you've already had that conversation in your head. And if you do act, well, Session 0 said we're not going to do that, so you get docked a few experience points, but who the fuck cares because you saved Lou. And in the end, it really doesn't matter because it's a game. Let me repeat that. It's a game. Now, if you're really worried about this, pass notes. Pass notes. Use your phone and text them the information. Use your phone and look stuff up. You have a phone. If you don't have a phone, I'm sure somebody else at the table has a phone. And if you're not playing at the table, if you're playing online through like virtual tabletop, then again, look it up. Pass notes. Really, it's not a thing. I don't know why people are upset. It's not a thing. Let me repeat this again. It's a game. It doesn't matter. It's not a thing. Why are you upset? Anyways, that's my 2 cents and how I think you, the GM, should resolve the issue. Obviously, no passing. That resolves it. The thing on the wall says something that only Lou understands. You write it down and hand it to Lou what it says. Then Lou can decide whether he tells everybody or not what it says. Bam. If you appreciate the nonsense that's coming out of my mouth, let me know. And by letting me know, I mean subscribing and supporting me. If you don't appreciate the nonsense that's coming out of my mouth, that's fine. Let me know. Constructive criticism is always appreciated. Till next time, I am your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, sports, and internet nonsense about absolutely nothing. The OGGM. Have a great day. And get out of my brain, you damn kids, with your damn knowledge. How do you know what it says? You don't speak, Ugbear. Oh wait, you speak bugbear? Well then, never mind. You know what it says. Knowledge.